Welcome to Meet Me in Tennessee. I'm your host, Allie, and this podcast is sponsored by the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. You can find us online at northeasttennessee.org and on all social media. Today we have Katie Houston in the house, and Katie is one of the co-founders of a fitness and community-based app known as FitFeed. So a little bit of background. Katie and I first met during the pandemic. And hello, Katie.
Hi.
We were volunteering for Meet the Mountains Festival, which is a local festival here in Johnson City that celebrates the outdoors. And during that time, Katie and her partner Dennis had discussed starting up a fitness app, or they were in the processes of it early on.
Yeah, we didn't even have the idea yet at the beginning of the pandemic, but it was an idea that definitely was born from the pandemic. Yeah.
So like we had done the Meet the Mountains thing, and I know that kind of focuses around community as well. Mm-hmm. And Katie, can you tell our listeners what FitFeed is?
Yeah, of course. So, so that's FitFeed. It's spelled with a Y, so FYTFEED. And we like to say, why not? We have a big emphasis on people's personal reasons why that they want to get active and live an active and healthy lifestyle. So we're a community-based platform, and the whole premise is finding your community where you can get encouragement and support while you live an active lifestyle, and then also participating in challenges. So we run group goals or leaderboard-based challenges to help people stay motivated to reach their activity goals.
Wonderful. So would you say one of your focuses for FitFeed is on friendly competition?
Yeah. So Dennis and I, when we first started, so we're both scientists by training, and it was really clear to us just as we were doing research that friendly competition is the number one way to help people stay motivated. But there are some nuances with that, where that competition has to feel sustainable, it has to feel obtainable, so it has to be fun. You know, competition can turn people off, but under the right circumstances and in the right setting where it feels supportive, it's actually really motivating and really healthy.
That is so interesting. I love that you're both scientists and you feel like the app is backed with evidence.
Yeah, so when we first started, it was the middle of the pandemic, really during the time period when people were isolating. For Dennis and I, we're both really active. At the time, I was teaching yoga and, going to the gym and doing a lot of outdoor activities, and all of that community got shut down. And so Dennis and I were still being really active, especially in the outdoors, and we had each other. We were working out in our friend's garage, but we started to really feel that isolation, and that's really what inspired the app and us being like, hey, we think that there's a space here where the world, I guess, could use a community-based activity.
Yes.
App. And so, as being scientists, we started reading a lot of academic papers. We participated in an online active living conference of a bunch of professionals all over the country that do a lot of research in helping people live active lifestyles. And it became really clear to us that the social encouragement aspect and the friendly competitions are the two top things that really help people reach their activity goals and find motivation to stick with it.
How awesome. So do you remember that kind of exact moment where it clicked during the pandemic and you're like, there might be a need for this in the community?
Man, yeah, it was a kind of crazy story too, because neither Dennis nor I really set out being like, oh, we're going to start a business or we're going to create an app ourselves. We had no prior experience in tech or entrepreneurship. So we actually kayak with a David Nelson, who's a local guy who we knew had experience in app development. So we kayaked with him and we texted him and we were just like, hey, we have this idea. What do you think would go into this? And it was really, I guess, fortuitous, or I'm searching for the word, but it was, in any case,
He was like the missing piece to
Well-
getting the technology. Ah.
So we'll back up a little bit. So anyway, we reached out to our friend David Nelson, who does have experience in app development, and we asked him what would it take to build an app like this. And it just so happened at that time in Johnson City and in the Tri-Cities area, he had partnered with a group of people to start an organization called Founders Forge, which is all about backing tech startups and entrepreneurs in the Tri-Cities and in Johnson City, in the Appalachian Highlands. And they were starting their first online boot camp for people who had ideas. So he was like, okay, guys, you should just do this boot camp. And of course, for us, it's the pandemic. We didn't have much else going on. So we signed up and did this boot camp just to kind of flesh out our idea. And, we kind of approached it as, we like this idea and we think it could be cool, but we know nothing about this. And by the end of the boot camp, FitFeed was a real thing, to our surprise, and we've been at it ever since. So
Yes, so awesome timing with David and Founders Forge. That leads me into one of my other questions. What has your experience been like in the region with co-founding a startup and having those kind of resources available?
Yeah, it's awesome because, Johnson City, East Tennessee, you don't really think of it as being a tech hub or anything like that, right? But actually, there's a really rich entrepreneurship community here. There's spaces for remote workers, and Founders Forge has been really incremental in just bringing a lot of those people with ideas and established entrepreneurs together to have a community and share their experiences as well, and really kind of locking us in with people like SyncSpace, and there's a conference that takes place in Nashville, so connecting us there. And they're actually trying to start, or they are starting, their own tech conference that'll be next year too, right in this area. Yeah, so there's actually a lot of growth in terms of that entrepreneurial community too here.
I feel like these communities have been core to helping startups connect and encourage each other to grow, and there's a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, and it's pretty amazing. I knew, again, right around the pandemic, I had recently bought a house in Johnson City, decided I really wanted to set my roots down here, and I knew that I wanted to do that based on the outdoor recreation in this area.
Yes.
But then to kind of pair that with that whole entrepreneurial vibe and along with our downtown, it's just been really, really cool to see all those different pieces come together. So
Yes, absolutely. And you talk about buying a home and planting roots. So where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I like to say I'm from Appalachia, and now I live in Appalachia. But I'm from central Pennsylvania. So I grew up in the Allegheny region of the Appalachian Mountains.
When you say Appalachian, I try not to correct you in Appalachian, but
know.
since you pointed it out, I am used to saying Appalachian.
Yeah,
But
I
now you're
changed that
here.
now that I'm here, yeah.
You're Appalachian. And what brought you to Northeast Tennessee?
Yeah, so I went to college in central Pennsylvania. I was a chemistry major, and then I went to UNC Chapel Hill for graduate school. And while I was there, I got connected in with Eastman Chemical Company. So they helped fund a portion of my dissertation for my PhD. And then I did an internship with them in grad school too. And that worked out really well because then when it was time to leave grad school, I kind of knew that I wanted to come here, not only because Eastman's a great company, but also because I really wanted to come back to the mountains, having grown up in
Right.
the mountains. So but I love the southern weather, so it's like the best of all the worlds for me to end up in East Tennessee.
So you were familiar with the outdoor community before you
Yeah.
decided to plant roots.
Yeah, I was from, growing up and everything. And then in grad school, living in a more urban area, I kind of had a period of time where I was away from it and I really missed it and I really wanted to get back to it. And then since moving here, it's been expanded like tenfold from growing up. It's been pretty awesome.
Absolutely. The whole community is evolving and it continues to grow, and it's super exciting with small businesses like yours and Meet the Mountains Festival.
Yeah.
And seeing this whole kind of outdoor economy, local business thrive right now is really inspiring.
It is, for sure.
Okay, so we'll move on. And you mentioned holding some challenges with the app. I know you've held some with East Tennessee State University, USA Raft Adventure Resort, and most recently Visit Johnson City. Can you tell our listeners how these partnerships have played a role in growing the app?
Yeah, we've been really excited about all of the, all of the local support has been amazing. And so we've had an ongoing relationship with ETSU Campus Recreation, and that's been really awesome to see grow. So they started by doing a yoga challenge during National Yoga Month, and then last semester they ran a semester-long challenge focused on just general activity. And so we've been kind of helping them get the word out about their boot camps that they have on campus and just
Sure.
helping people find ways that even if you're not going to the gym facilities, if you're taking advantage of their mountain biking trails or you're taking
Right.
advantage of the hiking trails just in the area, finding ways for that campus community to be able to share what they're doing together, regardless of what that is. And that really also helps Campus Rec understand how the campus community is taking advantage of facilities, not only within, their gym and their indoor track and things like
Sure.
that, but across campus and the outdoors as well.
Sure. So helping them step out of their natural environment and kind of getting more exposed to the public community, maybe doing things out of their comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So to someone like maybe in our audience, someone who has never been in the app, could you explain how a challenge would work?
Yeah, so what you do, we're a free app, so if you can go to Google Play or the App Store and search for us, FYTFEED. Go ahead and download the app. It's completely free to our users, so that's something that's pretty important to us. And then once you make your profile, you'll see a community feed where people are sharing how they're getting active and giving each other encouragement. And then you can go into the challenges tab, and from there we always have a variety of global challenges, we call them, that you can join in. And so these are going to be your challenges that are sponsored by maybe your campus or some local nonprofit. So we run challenges for a cause, which is something that's pretty important to us. But you'll have those options that you can join in. Or if you have a personal goal or a group of friends or that want to work together towards something, you also have the option of creating your own private challenge with your friends. So yeah, it's pretty easy. We have some YouTube videos if you want help figuring that out, but it's pretty intuitive how to set those up. So yeah, there are lots of options of how to utilize our challenges and get involved.
Very cool. Thank you so much. And you mentioned that it is available in the App Store.
Yeah.
And also Android. Is it available for Android and iPhone?
Yep, both.
Okay, and what about watches? What's it compatible with?
Yeah, so we're compatible with Fitbit, Garmin, and Apple Watch or Apple Health. Yeah, so those are our integrations right now. So when you do your activity, it'll automatically sync with the feed.
Awesome. Awesome, cool stuff. So while the app focuses on the local community, um, how would you think that visitors to Northeast Tennessee might benefit from this culture that FitFeed is kind of helping to create?
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is something just growing up in a really small town and watching as our community grows and continues to thrive. One of the things that I really hope that people can do is kind of get on the app and see what's going on around in the area, just different ways to get active. So,
Sure.
there are a lot of people who are dedicated to the gym, or maybe you don't know what gym you want to go to. And then there are a lot of people dedicated to the outdoor recreation. And so we're hoping that it's a place where, people from all those different worlds, or people who are just trying to get into one of those worlds, can have a place to
Yeah.
kind of see what's going on
Or just
and
find some positive encouragement.
yeah, exactly. Ask some questions about where to go, how to get there,
Yeah,
and
I hadn't
bridge
even
those
thought
gaps.
hadn't
Yeah.
even thought to use it that way. I was just thinking like FitFeed would be awesome to like find out about local events or festivals, with Meet the
Yeah,
Mountains being something, or visit Johnson City.
for sure. We've had a lot of success with Meet the Mountains and also with the Blue Plum Festival, Visit Johnson City as
Right.
well, where we run challenges that basically shows you all of the activities or events that you can partake in during that festival. So that's
Yeah.
another cool utility of the apps, just basically saying, hey, here's all the ways you can get physically active during this festival, and then we'll partner with sponsors to supply prizes for people who go to the most events or something like that. Or with Visit Johnson City, it was how can you get active and explore downtown Johnson City in the different areas and places, small businesses that actually are businesses where you have the opportunity to get active while you are, being a patron for them. So, we've made, we've also done it with Trek locally too. So,
I didn't know y'all partnered with Trek.
yeah, and Sorba, a mountain biking organization. So there's lots of different ways that you can check out our challenges to learn more about how you can get active in Tennessee and at our festivals. So.
Well, I love your enthusiasm for the app and just for the community. So I really appreciate you being here today.
Of course.
And just to kind of switch tracks, so I know you and Dennis are both avid bikers and whitewater kayakers.
Yes.
Can you please explain to our listeners what an Appalachian surf and turf day is?
Oh, this is great. Well, this is like one of our favorite things to do.
I know.
Really, a day of surf and turf is a full adventure day. So,
Sunrise to sunset.
yeah. So let's think. We can give some examples, but essentially, what it is for us. We call it surf and turf, but we usually always turf first. So it's a day of mountain biking followed by whitewater kayaking or rafting. But kayaking usually is more obtainable in terms of fitting all of that into one day. So I guess some examples of what we like to do. We'll go mountain biking at Buffalo Mountain or Pinnacle Fire Tower Trail.
And those are both here, pretty close proximity to Johnson City.
Yes, so they're right outside of downtown Johnson City within like a 10-minute drive. And they are also on your way driving to the Nolichucky River.
Yes.
So once we get done mountain biking on one of those trail systems, we'll continue making our way to the Nolichucky River, and then we'll either kayak the entire gorge, which USA Raft is always there to help us get our shuttle.
Yes. Shout out.
Yeah. Or we'll just paddle into Jaws and then hike out, depending on how much time we have, which is one of the rapids that's on the Nolichucky. But that's one of our favorite ways to spend an outdoor adventure day in the area.
Absolutely. You can't beat a full day here in our backyard with a bike and a kayak. I mean, you get a little bit
No,
of both
you
worlds.
really can't. Yeah.
So now for some personal questions.
Okay.
What motivates you to get up in the morning?
Woo.
We're going deep.
Yeah, that's a great question.
And feel free to say pass. We can go on.
No.
Okay.
Oh man. So I think that you kind of have to, I don't know, not to get too deep, but I think you have to break it down into like little things and big things, right? So I do like to start my day off by going to the gym, so that if I go to the gym in the morning, nothing else can happen in my day that can interrupt that or get in the way of me being physically active that day, which is really important.
Yes.
Just to my overall mental and physical health. So I'd say that's kind of my motivator right when I get up. It's like, okay, I got to get out of bed because I have got to go to the gym. And that's pretty motivating for me. But then I do think in general too, just like always having something that you're working toward is really important, in terms of, I guess, just happiness in life. I think purpose has a lot to do with it.
Sure.
So yeah, just like with FitFeed, with my day job at Eastman, it's just having something that you're passionate about, that you are always have that feeling like, oh, if I really follow through with some of these goals, I'm going to end up a better person. I always try to have a few of those types of goals going on in my life that kind of, I want to see what's going to happen next. Or I'm always growing and changing in a way that I want to see what's going to happen next. So
yes, we're always growing. And I feel like you practice what you preach, because if you follow Katie in the FitFeed app, you will see that she is up at the crack of dawn in the gym, or she's squatting late in the evening, biking, kayaking. She's doing all of it in between. So you are inspirational in the community and on your app. So also, in a movie about your life, who would play you?
Oh gosh, I will say, like, if I have an embarrassing record of the fact that like I don't watch movies or television. So that's a hard one for me to answer. I don't know. Who do you think would play me?
I was just thinking, I feel like Julia Roberts comes to mind.
Okay.
That's just the first one that comes to mind. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that one?
Oh man, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't watch enough movies.
No, that is a good problem to have, I think. So on to the next question. Do you have a signature cocktail or favorite mocktail that you like to make yourself?
Okay, yeah, for sure. So I always just like we'll make an old fashioned. It's easy, it's what I know, and it's what I love. I like a good whiskey sour. Or the other thing I like to do, because during like weeknights and stuff, I don't want to drink, or sometimes I just don't want to drink on the weekends. I like to get like a good kombucha. So right now it's the holiday season, and there's one called Holiday Cheer. I wish Health Aid is I guess a shout out to them. So they make one called Holiday Cheer.
Is that local here?
No,
I was just curious.
It's not. I buy it at Aldi, but
Okay.
it's awesome. And I like to throw some cocktail cherries into a kombucha and put it in a cocktail glass and
fancy it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I like to put Gatorade in a wine glass after outdoor activities and take a bath. It's one of my favorite
love that
things
idea.
to do. It's really weird.
Okay.
It's like one of my favorite post-outdoor activity things to do.
Okay, so I have two things on my list. I definitely have to try the kombucha, because I've had a 6-pack of kombucha sitting in my fridge for months, because I took a sample test and it wasn't the one. Okay. So maybe this one I'll have to check out.
Yeah. Or add some like cocktail cherries and some of the juice.
Maybe that's the trick. There was just something off about this one. I won't say any brand names or anything. But what is your favorite local dining spot here in the region? Like, what's your go-to?
Okay, that's an awesome question. I'd have to say Timber. I love Timber. I love going to Timber. Their cocktails are awesome. Their food is always just on point, and the vibe, I love the vibe there. So
Okay.
yeah.
How could you describe that vibe? Just in a couple words.
Oh, so it's very like national parks.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll have to swing by there. I went when they first opened, and I got, I think, the chicken dinner dish, and it was delicious, but I've not been back in a while, so
Yeah, you have to check it out.
I will absolutely check it out. Um, do you have a personal theme song? Or like maybe like a favorite pump up song if you're about to go on an adventure or volunteer at a festival or something to get you amped?
Okay, that is something that's like changing a lot, I'd say, based on my mood. But I do like to make playlists that are pretty like in line with what I need at the time. But so yeah, what would I say? In all honesty, I like rappers. Like I'll get me some Cardi B or some like Megan
Oh,
Thee Stallion
yeah.
or something. That usually does the trick for me.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here and for joining us to talk a little bit about FitFeed. Hopefully, our listeners learned something about the app, and we'll check it out in the App Store. And again, you can find this on Apple and Android. It's also compatible with your favorite activity watch, and you can follow along on Instagram as well.
Right, yeah.
For any updates or things like that. Oh, by the way, we'll be working with FitFeed for a hiking challenge as part of the Appalachian Trail Vista Summit coming in August of 2023. So you can visit atvista2023.org to learn more about that event.
Yeah, we're super excited about that collaboration.
We are so pumped about it. So stay tuned for that. And for upcoming events and happenings in Northeast Tennessee, be sure to follow us on all the socials where there's more up here to do, see, and be when you meet me in Tennessee. Thanks for tuning in, and y'all come back soon.